All right, it's been about 3 weeks. I was gone on a trip. I was traveling all over the place, seeing family and friends, but now I have the first look at the floor as, as it cured and everything. And overall, it's okay. It's good. I've achieved my goal of getting it nice and level, ready for some flooring to put on top of that. Now I'm concentrating on the ceiling and walls before I get too carried away with the finishing floor stuff. I decided to take off the tools and just completely 100% use this space for living. It is raining outside, so I'm taking my last minute check for any leaks and stuff, and I already knew about this one. Comes from the ceiling up there. Today I decided to transfer all of my insulation that I had on this wall to this one because I could finish this one. I have enough wood to cover it, and I'm going to have this as the accent or whatever barnwood style wall. Kind of marking out the door here. I know I want the back door on here, so I took out one of the studs. And I'm doing it for several reasons, just for feeling of security, knowing you can escape in a different door in case there's a fire or something, and convenience, and also you could open it when you want to breeze through it. So multiple reasons, and you could access the shed that's in the back, that if somebody's living there or if I'm living inside that tiny house, I could access the door through here. Finally get to use all the wood that I had stored up, all the barn wood. Been trying to pick it out, sort it out. So I thought about this a lot, about this gap all the way around the garage, and I've had many ideas over this course of time what I was going to do with that, and I made a decision. I have a lot of this floor mix left. This is the blend of Portland cement with washed sand, and it's mostly sand. One of my ideas of filling in this gap was to fill it in with more packed dirt or sand, just to get the gap filled in so I could put flooring across it. And before I was concerned about the expansion, contraction stuff, and during the cold, moisture getting there and stuff, and furthering that gap. But I thought, it's probably okay that if this garage is as old as the house, it's over 100 years old, and this gap, this settling or whatever, is probably just from over the course of that time, and it's probably gonna be where it's gonna be. If I can get 30 more years out of it, I'm okay with that. And so I'm okay with just putting in the sand. I'm even just gonna pour it in dry and then just wet it on top, because I'm not concerned if it gets rock hard, or if it's properly done for cement mixture, stuff like that. So I'm happy if just the gap is filled in, and I think it'll be just fine. I'm kind of to the point where I'm just like, I just need to do something about that. That's the way I'm going to do it. Sometimes you just have to be creative with the problems you have and just kind of weigh out the risks with the benefits. Alright, I dumped all the dry mix in there. I'm just going to work on just wetting it down. I know it's going to settle a little bit, and then I'll go over it again with some more dry stuff. But mostly I have just enough bags for it, plus a little extra, so it's working out really well so far. And these other little stair step places I'm able to take care of, and that's what I was mostly worried about. So it's all going to be very flush, so I can put floor down and not worry about trying to fill in anything. Alright, the deed is done. Basically just soaked it all in, plenty of water, and I used my little snow shovel here for a trowel, and I'll smooth it out when it hardens just a little bit. But as I look at it now, I'm feeling good about it. I just have this one leak to fix on the roof before I could do any insulation and other things on the walls and whatever. But I'll just let you know what I have planned for the future. These shingles don't look horribly bad, but I'm still gonna leave them on once I put my metal sheeting on, just like my tiny house shed over there. I'll do something exactly like that. Same with this side wall stuff. I'm going to keep it on there, and it'll be useful as an extra barrier for insulation. It'll leave an air gap, and also weather protection as well, so I won't have to put any black paper down, or that waterproof barrier, vapor barrier stuff. So I'll leave it on there for those reasons, so I don't have to take any of these materials off, and I don't have to figure out where to dump it or anything. So this is the leak area that I'm trying to target, and to kind of simplify my search for the leak on the outside, I just took a measuring tape from the wall and figured out exactly where it was from the wall, so I could narrow down where the leak is right on the edge. Because leaks are hard to find sometimes. Sometimes it's not very obvious. So I measured, it's about right here where the leak is, and I looked right here, and that pinpointed it. Probably goes right in there and pools up a little bit and just leaks all the way down. So I'm glad it was simple. I just have this roof patch type stuff. Found this at the Habitat store, and I'm just gonna put this under it. So this roofing patch just looks like a tacky tar tape or something, and has a kind of a tacky side to take the paper off, and as you set it in there, you just clean it off, the debris and stuff. And over time the sun hits it and it kind of melts it into place. So that's it. Of course I'm going to go under the so the trains are active today. Just like that. I mean, it's not going to be a big deal, so it's not going inside. Cut that off. Call it good. I'm glad this is simple. It's amazing some of these projects are really simple, and I just put it off because I think it's going to be difficult. Just did a few final touches with the low spots, the trowel. So that's all good and level now. So my next task is these big doors, and I'm excited to get rid of these doors. Actually, these are pretty annoying. I've intended on changing them. I just want to point out that this whole I'm trying to think of the words. So the head plate, or the whatever you call. So I have it over here for my back door. I have the framing all set up for whenever I get a door, and this I just can't think of the word right now. Header? Is that the header? Just slipped my mind. So the header, this doesn't really have one, but they kind of, the header should be right here, and this is where the stud should be, where those things are. So I'm not going to worry too much about putting a header in there, because there's not a lot of weight on it anyways. I might reinforce it a little bit. Got the doors off of there. This is going to add a lot of space. Thanks, train. This is going to add a lot of space. right over here. I'm not going to miss those doors at all. So some people may think it's a little inconvenient, but I've noticed that saving even the crappiest little pieces are going to come in handy with this style of barn wood and rusty stuff, rustic. So keeping as much as I can. Like even this stuff you could reuse in something and it just has character to it. That's the brilliance of this style. I've been taking this off. I know I'm gonna have to replace this upper part of that frame, but I might even keep this board for something cool. I don't think, well, I got a door. Let me just show you the door. Got this door for free. Doesn't have any dents on it, but it has is included with this whatever you call it, frame. I forget what the term is, but I wanted this. Saves money, and it's already complete. So I'm ready to just close this in and have my door immediately, so when any storms come, it'll be covered up. So this is essentially doing the same thing as they did before, but I'm rising it up a little bit, and I'm not going to put those support things where they were because there's not really necessary, because I need to fit this door and it's going to barely fit right there anyway. And essentially that's a header, but it's of course not correct in construction, but there's hardly any weight on top of there, so I'm not too worried about it. Plus they have 2 more 2x4s there, so essentially it'll be alright, I think. Alright, I have the door frame in there, and I have a better idea for the header. And I have this 4x4, and I figure that's going to be way better. So I'll set this up there. Have a lot more sturdiness. So I'm getting all framed in there for the wall. I'm almost there. I found another free door, so that'll be my front door. And it came with the frame as well, so that makes it easy. It just pretty much has to slide in there, and then you just get these little spacers here. You can get these little wooden wedges that go in there to take care of the space, the gap. Little wedges like this, and then once that frame is wedged in there, make sure it's plumb and all square, and you just kind of drill in, just drill it in the side. Some use this screw here, and some people just go beyond the weather stripping there and just drill a hole through there so it holds up the frame, and then you just put in the door. I have to make some adjustments on this though, because, and this is something I didn't know before, but since it's harder to push in, kind of have to lift it up a little bit. I know this is as square as I can get it, so I know the hinges sometimes are not bent right. So I'm repurposing these doors, the ones that were on there before. I actually put them to real use. They hardly did anything before. I salvaged the good parts off of it. I'm going to show you real quick just kind of a brief thing about the adjusting your door hinges. and you could watch the video about this. You could look it up, and there's some other videos that are more detailed. But you can adjust these if your door doesn't close all the way. So if it's rubbing down there, you can kind of see a bigger gap up there and a smaller gap there. You know, you can adjust this. Basically, it's just taking a adjustable crescent wrench and pulling up the pin there, and just be really careful about it, because you just want to do small moves at a time. But only adjust and bend the hinge that's part of the door. You don't need to worry about the other part of it that's attached to the door jamb. But you just basically put your little adjustable wrench there, and then kind of bend it just a little tweak. Do the other one, and then do another one down there, and just once you get it to that point. Alright, so now it's kind of pulling it in a little better, and the top will be a little better. I need to bend it more, but this was a way to pull it in. So you only adjust the top and the bottom. The middle one you could just kind of leave alone. If you want to spread it out this way, you just open the door, stick your wrench in there like that, and then you kind of just close the door on it. Just kind of do little tugs like that. Do it in a few places like that, and I'm just kind of softly doing it, but I mean, you can't do a lot of torque on that, or else it'll pull it off the door jamb or pull the screws out of there, so you have to be careful about that part. But that's pretty much it. That's the way you could adjust this. Just watch the other videos for the detailed versions. Starting to set in my little electrical boxes for switches and outlets. I'll just do kind of just a general idea. These boxes are pretty simple, just has a couple nails in it and a couple notches right here to line it up with the outside, and that gives you enough room for the drywall that'll come in later, and then you just nail it in. Light switches, I think, are 50 inches up from the flooring. I think there's a range of where it could be, and then the outlets are going to be about 12 inches from the floor. And you can nail it in right there. Some people just use their hammer because it's about 12 inches, and they just kind of put that down there, and then they kind of rough in the boxes. So luckily I already have a panel here. I'm just gonna have to rewire some of the things in there. I think just 30 amps through there, with a split off from 15 amps on this side and then 15 amps for the next side. But I just have to run through my head exactly what I'm going to need for the future. I know I'm going to need a little bathroom area with a light and then a outlet, and I might have a future time I might have an incinerator toilet, and it might require a 20 amp thing. Power, I don't know yet. And so I just have to consider all those things. Microwave, stuff like that over there, and then TV, other little plug-in stuff for fans and AC, window AC unit or something, I don't know. So I'm working on this back door now. I just kind of have it traced out. I'll show you basically what I was doing. It's similar on the front door. So I have the door jamb, basically the door frame, and it came with the door. makes it easier to buy it with the door. So I traced it out on this wall. I'll just set this in there to show you exactly what I did. So I basically just did this. I got it plumb and squared off, and then I traced it around the edge. So now I'm just going to cut it out with my skill saw. Well, I'm committed to it. I almost have a door just from the material right there. I'm definitely going to repurpose that. Be nice access from the back to the shed. Somebody wants to park back there, come through here. Roughly in there. I'll put in another 2x4 here, and then that's where I said I was going to do my small header thing. Maybe just put a support there or something. Another 2x4. It's pretty much roughed in, but there's like this metal sheet at the bottom of the siding here. So I'm just going to reuse this and just cut it down to size, and for a little sheeting right under the threshold. So this one is easier than the front door. The only issue I had was this part right here. This wall is slightly out, and I already knew that because the foundation thing that I showed before. So it is pushed out, so I have to just adjust for that. So I have to get creative with the crown molding here, but I at least wanted the door straight so it's not rubbing against the floor or anything. But I'm glad it's closes just fine, seals up, so that's good. Just need a doorknob. The struggle that I'm having with this one is that if you remember, the crack in the foundation is right here. That's where I filled it in, and it has a slight bowing right there. So I'm having to kind of deal with that a little bit. Bow it or fill it in at the bottom somehow. So it's a little tight when it shuts, but I'll have to adjust. And I didn't know this, but I saw it on a video that some of these door thresholds have an adjustment. So these screws, you could actually screw it in or out, and this little door part, I don't know, that it'll raise up or lower depending on how much you screw it in or out. So it takes care of that gap, and I think the other door has it too, so that'll help out.